All right, guys, welcome to the live stream. Today we are just kind of reacting to some YouTube videos. Um, I would love to freestyle rap right now, but I'm quitting the hard alcohol. I am drinking a few beers just to kind of taper off, but I'm quitting the hard alcohol, and I didn't get off that because I've been drinking for like years. Like I've been drinking every day for like years. You could probably tell I kind of look like shit. My face is all fat and shit. So basically, I'm getting off the hard alcohol, and so I just need like a week or two. Because when I rap, I go crazy. You know how I do. When I rap, I go crazy. So it makes me want to drink hard alcohol because it fuels it. It's sick. So I need to get off the hard alcohol first, and then I'm gonna start freestyling again. So once I get off the hard alcohol, I'll start freestyling again, and it's gonna be dope. So yeah, for now we're just gonna react. We're just gonna chill and react to some content.
Time. No, if they had what was called the Great Tariff Act of 1887 or something like that, and it was a great group of people like yourselves, they picked really smart people to sit on a committee. They had so
Testing,
much
testing,
money
one,
they
two,
didn't
three.
know what to do with it, and they wanted to have the money given
You
away.
guys
You
hear
know, we
me?
built the Panama Canal out of tariffs. We did a lot of things. Panama Canal was the single biggest investment, relatively speaking, that this country's ever made. Would be the equivalent of trillions of dollars today. And Jimmy Carter gave it away for $1. It was also the most profitable thing ever built. Thing. In other words, like buildings or casinos or anything, the most profitable thing ever built was the Panama Canal. And brilliantly, Jimmy Carter thought the country of Panama should have it, even though we lost 36,000 people to the mosquito. You know that, right? To the mosquito and a certain snake, which was not a very nice reptile. This was a brutal reptile. You got bit, it was over. It was just like, bye-bye, everybody. We lost 36,000 people.
What type of
Malaria,
snake?
the mosquito, and the snake.
What
And
snake?
he gave it away for
What type of
$1.
snakes?
Well, at least we got $1. That's better than most of those guys do. We got $1 for that. Most expensive thing ever built, most profitable thing ever built, too. Makes so much money. Every prediction the critics made about our tariff policy has failed to materialize. The evidence shows overwhelmingly that the tariffs are not paid by American consumers, that they're paid by foreign nations and middlemen. And Scott went over that with us before, and they're paid by middlemen. They raise the thing. Countries get involved. They pay them because otherwise they won't have companies. They won't be viable. And we're the big beneficiary. Once again, the so-called experts were 100% wrong, and Trump was right. People of Michigan were 100% right. You elected the right guy. Have you had the other person, everybody, we wouldn't even be having a meeting today, probably. There'd be no meeting. The economic club would be saying, like, man, we're doing bad. It's going to be awfully tough to get people to show up. This is going to be tough, the chairman. This is going to not be a good day for us. We don't want to have, let's cancel the meeting immediately. The Trump tariffs have delivered us trillions of dollars of new investment, unprecedented new partnerships on minerals, rare earths, defense, and artificial intelligence, and historic levels of foreign military sales. You know, you have the Supreme Court now going to rule on whether or not we can use tariffs. Can you believe this? A case
That's
brought about
bullshit.
by people.
The Supreme Court is gonna rule if they can use tariffs or not. That's bullshit.
That are China-centric, foreign-centric, but China-centric. I wouldn't want it if I was China either. You know, China's one of our biggest taxpayers right now. China, would you ever believe you'd hear that? And they've been great. My relationship with President Xi has been great. But we have a group that's foreign-centric, China-centric, suing. And we'll figure something out. If we don't win, but we
Three.
should
I would
win.
just go
We
to
should
Target
win.
on Douglas.
So
Yeah,
great
for
for
Air
national
Scully.
security.
Oh yeah.
I ended
Sorry,
eight wars.
I was over there. Yeah, go to Air Scully. Yeah, go there. Bye.
Think of that. 8 wars. And without trade and tariffs, you wouldn't have been able to end any of them. But they brought hundreds of billions of dollars pouring into the United States Treasury, helped curb inflation, and helped cut the federal budget deficit by a staggering 27%. And that's only for a short period of time. The number's much bigger than that when you add in the full year. And I've told people I got into a lot of trouble because of the fake news back there. I told people, I said, tariff is my favorite word. I said, my favorite word of every word is tariff. I've loved it for 40 years. I came here many years ago. Remember, they said I didn't come here. Then they found out I did. I got an award in Detroit, in Michigan, many years ago, and still have it. They said it never happened. It did happen. Turned out I didn't notice any apology. But all I did was talk about you're losing your car industry. This was long before I ran for politics. They said you're losing. I said, why are you allowing these foreign nations to take your car? You know, you lost 57% of your car industry. The good news is you're getting it back. But I said, why aren't you using tariffs? I've been very consistent, I will tell you that, for years and years, even as a private
I'll be right
businessman. For
back.
years I used to,
Be
because I
back. I'm
got,
gonna go
for
see where my
whatever reason, a
cat
lot of
is.
publicity always. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it happens. And I talk about the importance. But I said recently, I said, tariff is my favorite word in the whole dictionary. There's no word. And I took a lot of heat. They said, what about your wife, your children? What about religion and God? What about Jesus? So I said, all right, it's my fifth favorite word. And since then, I've been fine. They hit me hard, these people, the fake news. They were killing me over tariff. He likes tariff more than his wife, more than religion. He likes tariff more than anything. What a disgrace. So I now call it number 5, and I'm in good shape. That was a rough day. It's my favorite word, and I got killed. Every word, you know, when you go up here, you take a big chance, especially me, because I go off teleprompter about 80% of the time. But isn't it nice to have a president that can go off teleprompter? When you think? Remember the speeches Joe would make? First of all, they'd last a matter of seconds, you know. Thank you very much. You ever notice Joe would always cough before a speech? State of the Union, he gets, ladies and gentlemen. And then it would be like very short. Although the one time they had him spruced up pretty good, remember, he was high as a kite. He was floating, he was up there way up. That was a bad speech. But, hey, he got through it, you know, he got through it. If you call it getting through, this country was so, can you imagine allowing 25 million people into our country, many of them criminals, many of them murderers? What he did to this country, what they did, because it was the people surrounding that beautiful Resolute desk. But just as I promised you that I've imposed a 25% tariff on all foreign automobiles, I'm standing up for the American auto worker like no president has ever stood up before. You know, those tariffs are keeping the foreign auto workers. Now, if they want to come in and build a plant and hire you and hire your friends and your neighbors, that's great. I love that. Let China come in, let Japan come in. They are. And they'll be building plants, but they're using our labor. U.S. auto factories are now seeing more than $70 billion of new investment. Think of that. They were leaving. They were all going. They were going in the opposite direction. Now they're pouring back. It's the greatest. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And much of that money is coming right here to the car-making capital of the world, Detroit. You lost, I mean, so many places. Since I took office, Ford has announced it will invest $5 billion across its Michigan and Kentucky plants, creating 4,000 new jobs. GM is moving production of the Chevy Blazer and Equinox from Mexico right back here to America. Right? Is my favorite auto worker here by any chance? You know who I'm talking about. What happens? Where's Brian? Brian. Oh, I see. He made some cash. He's have to fly. Oh, he's been very disloyal to Detroit. We're going to have to. He is such a great guy, right? Man, that guy fought for me when it wasn't the popular thing to do. He fought for me from day one. Well, you tell him I said hello to him, all right? That guy, he got it. 4 years ago, he got it, right at the beginning. He understood it better than anybody, better than the great economists. They had no clue. And Stellantis is investing $13 billion to expand its U.S.-based manufacturing plant by more than 50%. Stellantis doing a good job. Never before has an administration achieved such sweeping and dramatic turnarounds as have taken place just in this very short period of time. I mean, you're talking about 11 months. 11 months and you have a different business. 11 months and you're booming. I just spoke to an AI guy, and that's booming too. You know, we're leading China in AI by a lot. I'm letting them build their own electric plants because people are saying, you know, the amount of electricity they need twice as much as electricity currently in the United States for every other business, home, factory. They need double. So I said, we can't do that. And then I had the idea. When they build these $50 billion plants, I'm going to let them build, and they're already building big electric plants, take care of it. And any excess electricity, they'll sell it back to our country. It's an unbelievable, and therefore we're going to build. I think if they really added, you know, you hear how much, and I have great respect for China, but you hear they're building a lot of electricity, but we are too. But we're having it built privately. They're going to own their own electric. They're becoming their own electricity producer. And when they heard this idea, they thought it was great, but they didn't take it seriously because they said it's too good to be true. But then they realized that I was serious, and we're getting them 2 and 3 week approvals. They don't have to wait for 20 years before they get rejected. You know, in the old days, they had to wait for 20 years, and then they get rejected at the end of 20 years. Guys would give up their whole career trying to get one approval, and then they get rejected. In every aspect of our agenda, we're putting America first, and nothing will stand in our way. Nothing's going to stand in our way. Nothing. So one of our top priorities of this mission is promoting greater affordability. Now, that's a word used by the Democrats. They're the ones that cause the problem. The one thing, they stick together. They don't have some of the people that we have. I don't know. It's a genetic thing. It's something in the blood. We got some real losers. Mostly great. But I wouldn't use the name Romney because I'm in his sort of territory. So I would never use that name. But all right, I'll use it.
Yo, what's up, chat?
They don't have a Mitt Romney that votes against everything. They don't have a Rand Paul that votes against everything.
What's
I got
up,
him
chat?
elected twice. He was a stone cold loser. I went to
Got you right here, chat.
Kentucky where I won by a lot. I did a rally for him. Then I did another rally. He won. Then I went the second time. He won. Then he votes against all the time. It's just crazy. I don't get it. Then
Let's see. What else we got? Let's see. Dragon Knight. Mega Dragon Knight, the god of the stratosphere. Should we watch this? Man, let's see. Hardcore Iron Man. But the video doesn't end until we get a purple or dyed triangle. Let's watch this.
Yellow, black.
Let's watch a little bit of RuneScape.
Black. I knew it. What's going on, boys? Welcome to the new video. All hail Big Crab. Genuinely, I think it's the best thing the old school RuneScape has implemented into the game so far. But unfortunately, I have no more reason to be here now because we're completely maxed. 99 range and 99 hit points. Everyone say hi to Voidwicker Speedrun and Hardcore Neighbor. I don't want to leave. I have to, though. I'm going to start the video. I'm going to go grab my 99 range cape because more defense bonuses. I'm sure I'll have it in some use case scenario. But while I do it, let's talk about the plans. I'm done now. It's TOA time. It's TOA time now, baby. Except it's not, because I'm avoiding. There are 2 more things that I want to do before we go to TOA. 1, I want to get the Herblore so I can make my own brews. I've already done a little bit of prep for that, but you'll see that after this because I want it to seem like a seamless video. And the other thing that I want to get is the Aladdle, because if we pull up the DPS calculator real quick, and I know what you're thinking, well, those are just numbers. Yes, but after some practice TOAs, the one thing that scares me the most is single lining P3 Wardens. I'm not good at it. I can do it. I don't like it. And with our DPS going from a 5.4 with Diamond Bolt Ease to a 6.3 basically a 1.0 difference if we don't think about it too hard. I just feel like it's worth it. But yeah, that's the plan. Where am I gonna put this? I'll probably put it after the intro. That first bingo we did, finally paying off because I came back. Wait, how do I get this? Yeah, I came back for the subscription goggles because not that I'm avoiding, but I would really like to get 77 herb lore before this is over. So I need to go collect all my resources. So hopefully that, yeah, I'm nowhere near. Hopefully, battle darts. I don't know how many of these break down into. I'm pretty sure you just chisel them, right? 100. Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know how to spell them, but I don't have any. I don't have any of to judge. It is a play, man. If you're ever just like dirt poor, been eating rice and beans for the last 2 weeks, get yourself some cheap instant coffee and a case of Pepsi Max. You'll thank me later. Good luck. Good. That's not a good start. Wow, that was fucking pretty scuffed. I'm not gonna lie, G. But hey, first solo completion. Let's go. Gotta walk it in for the little bit of milk. Take off the pants. I don't know. I just see everyone else do it. Ah. Never lucky, man. A gem, perhaps? Hey, look. Cachet of runes. I'll take it. Let me grab my bruise. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Bro, did you pick up one of my brews? I can't. I've tried all of them. I've lost a brew. What the fuck, man? So smooth, man. Surely. Deserved? What are we saying? Oh, okay. That's alright. Oh, shit. I don't have shift click on. What the fuck am I doing? As long as we don't get down to last line. That's a mage attack, you silly. Yeah, look at that, man. What am I meant to do about that? All calculated, man. Easy as. Bro, hit the crisscross applesauce. Yes, sir. I'm gonna have to milk it a little bit. God damn, who knew you could zoom in this much? Ooh, a white light. Hell yeah. Can still pray for a gem, perhaps. Game hates me. All good, brother. How are you doing, sus? I'm lagging. Yeah, not the greatest first run. Next one's gonna be better, for sure.
Sorry guys, I'm gonna skip this.
David, that's just what we were thinking.
Let's see if he dies.
I got this. Everyone, shut up. I got this. I'm gonna
No,
go.
I'll survive.
Ooh. On to my next topic. Mistakes.
He died.
I'm just not surprised anymore. If I'm being for real with you guys. 50 minutes of my life.
Yo, what up, Roland?
I'm motherload mines.
Yo, sorry guys. I might.
I love pain.
Anything? 215k.
What up, Roland? I might have some freestyles, but I'd have to go to my car. I'd have to go to my car and shit. I'm kind of just chilling today, to be honest. You do? Shit. You got some of the boys waiting? Shit. You got some of the boys waiting? The thing is, I'm trying to stop drinking hard alcohol. So I might take like a week off of the freestyling. So I can't quit drinking hard alcohol. Freestyle sober. It's a trigger though. Whenever I start rapping, I want to drink.
Don't worry, well, I've taken feeling special off. We're not doing that anymore. Made it on to be here though. Dream accomplished. Click, please. God, what are we doing? Just in time. Are we ready? It's been a long road. It's been a long time coming.
I'll freestyle tomorrow.
Ooh, in game.
I'll freestyle tomorrow. I'm not in the mood right now. This is day 5 with no hard alcohol. I'm just drinking beers. This is day 5 with no hard alcohol, just beers. So maybe I'll freestyle tomorrow. Right now, I just need to take it easy because I don't want to fucking have withdrawals and shit.
In game. Yes, sir. Yes. That'll pay for nothing. It'll pay for nothing. Nice, brother. Oi, Novice Tomb Raider. Wait, why'd I get Novice Tomb Raider? Oh, because I've done 50. Your perp? I hope so, man. You're going to walk it in for us. I hope you don't mind. Holy shit, the king of milking. He's worse than I am, bro. Yeah, let's take our time, man. Let's really savor it. Let's really savor it. Someone's lied to me. Someone's lied to me. That's alright, man. Good luck on pet. 11k for my time. 50th, man. I'm telling you.
I think he dies.
Not all bad.
I think he
Let's see
dies
that.
right now.
Oh,
Let me
scared
skip ahead.
One more big. Get out of there.
He died.
Oh.
Sheesh.
One more big number.
How do you die?
Come
What the fuck?
on. Come on. Oh, get out of there. Oh.
Oh.
How do you die like that? What a loser.
Oh, get number. Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, get out of there. Oh.
Oh.
Yikes. That sucks.
Oh. Well, boys, that's going to bring this episode to an end. Bit of a sour note to end on, I know. Would have really rather ended on purple, but, you know, we are where we are. Mistakes.
It was pretty fast.
That's going to bring
It
this
was pretty
episode
fast.
to an end. Bit of a sour note to end on, I know. Would have really rather ended on purple, but, you know, we are where we are. Mistakes have been made. A yellow clicked on the obelisk, which dragged me out. I tried to step back, and then I saw the shortest path would be to step forward, and by the time I realized I needed to escape crystal, I was way too late, and, you know, I shouldn't have been on 72 hit points. I understand that now. Mistakes have been made, lessons have been learned. It is what it is, man. Well, boys, what?
Is this
And
the
now,
anglerfish?
I was path would be a yellow click, but, you know,
Why doesn't he have
sour note to end
anglerfish?
on, I know. Would have really rather ended on purple, but, you know, we are
Yeah,
where we are. Mistakes
that sucks.
have been made. A yellow clicked on the obelisk, which dragged me out. I
That
tried.
sucks. He got owned. It's all good. He's out. He's dead. Forgot what it was.
You have Lisa Murkowski and you have Susan Collins, disasters. And you had a gentleman from Indiana that I don't believe it, Todd Young, he voted against. And you'd say, why are you voting against? They can't give you an answer. They're unable to give you an answer. It's like, why are they against the attack on Venezuela? They're against the attack after they found out it was the most successful attack, probably the most.
Let's check this out. Let's check out this new Candace Owens video. Check out this new Candace Owens video. Check this out. Skip ahead.
Candace was right jar. So let's jump right into it. Welcome back to Candace. In the East on military bases. Also, you are going to believe me now because I'm going to show you this lawsuit that they're going through. It's making its way through the courts anyway. Just allegations, I suppose you could say. But it certainly puts another coin in the Candace was right jar. So let's jump right into it. Welcome back to Candace.
Let's see what this bitch is talking about. Usually, so my thing about Candace Owens, usually she's just talking a whole bunch of bullshit.
Thing that they want us.
Usually she's just talking a whole bunch of bullshit. It's all gibberish. It's like all like it's not really real. She just has all these weird theories and shit. All these weird theories and shit. But it's not like real shit. She's just like lying. But it's not like real. She's just like lying and making hella money. It's fucking weird.
To honor Charlie by not asking questions, donating money, but not by actually carrying forth his actual ideas, things that came out of his mouth, the issues that he was concerned with in the months leading up to his life. So let's listen to Charlie Kirk regarding the neocons who could buy their way apparently onto the Turning Point USA stage and their insistence that we need to go to war with Iran. Take a listen.
Let's do some updates about Israel and Iran and potentially the United States. On one side is the Lindsey Graham, John Bolton types, where they are actively calling for regime change. Here is Lindsey Graham. This is just lunacy. This kind of analysis is not helpful. This kind of approach, this kind of argument, it has nothing to do with nuclear weapons at this point. This is now that we want to go all in and take out the regime. It's time for us to close the chapter on the Iranian Ayatollah and his henchmen and start a new chapter in the Middle East. And that sounds good, doesn't it? But what have we learned when it comes to wars, and especially wars in the Middle East? What you draw up on a whiteboard rarely happens. What you think theoretically is going to occur, there might be unintended and unforeseen consequences, especially when you're talking about a country 2.5 times the size of Texas. It has 90 million people and was an ancient and great power with well over a dozen ethnic groups. You have underground Christians. You don't really have many.
Let's skip this part. This guy's a fucking queer.
Well, I would push back, Charlie, only to say that it's very much the intended result. I find it so funny when people make the argument, well, you wouldn't want to live in this country in the Middle East. You wouldn't want to live in Iraq. And obviously, the West is the best. Yeah, do you want to know why I wouldn't want to live there? Or I want to live in Libya? Or I want to live in Iraq? Because we bombed them. And we wouldn't stop bombing them. We bombed them pretty much into the actual dark ages. That's the goal of these things, is to make it so these people can't live ahead and live in poverty. So yeah, no, you're right. I wouldn't want to live there because neocons insist on bombing and taking these countries' resources and controlling them therein with really kind of gangs. That's kind of the methodology. Gangs will then run the streets and we will supply the weapons anyways. Tucker Carlson similarly echoed this at the time. Lindsey Graham was just doing what Lindsey Graham does. I think personally, he's got the largest blackmail file. Whatever Israel has on him, it is terrifying. Okay, it is terrifying. We know what Lindsey Graham probably gets up to. We've had some male hookers come out and make some allegations, but they were running a pretty sophisticated blackmail ring in D.C. And Lindsey Graham just comes out and immediately is like, whatever Israel wants, all the time, bomb them now. And Tucker Carlson, I think, put it quite succinctly when he said this about Lindsey Graham. Take a listen.
What you don't want are flighty, emotionally incontinent, silly people on the payroll of foreign nations making decisions in an empire, because that's how you get in trouble. People like, just throwing this out there, say Lindsey Graham. Here he is in the aftermath of Venezuela.
To the people of Iran, we stand with you tonight. We stand for you taking back your country from the Ayatollah, a religious Nazi, who kills you and terrorizes the world. We pray for you. We support you. Donald J. Trump is not Barack Obama. He has your back. And to the Ayatollahs, you need to understand, if you keep killing your people who are demanding a better life, Donald J. Trump is going to kill you.
Every time you see that guy on TV, it really just reminds you of like getting pulled over for DUI with your drunk girlfriend in the passenger seat screaming at the cop, "You can't do this! Take your hands off him! He's going to beat you up!" Lindsey Graham really is the drunk girlfriend. Picking fights he'll never have to participate in. We're going to kill you! Settle down, son.
He is so correct with that analogy. That is exactly who he is. But I think he's got tears in his eyes. I think they called him and they're like, we were going to release the file right now and everyone's going to see what you did. And he's like, that's Lindsey Graham. Anyways, back to Charlie. I want to now show you this in our master timeline. Charlie going head to head with Bibi Netanyahu, because June is when things start to look funny. Okay? Not a great thing in your life to win against the murderous Israeli regime, okay? Not so concerned about Iran, very concerned about the murderous Israeli regime, okay? And we're going to look at that timeline between just the dates of May 13th through to June 24th. Now, I know you don't even know this plane, this purple plane, light purple plane, SUBTU. This is when we get to the Egyptian planes here, but I'm building this all up for you with the priests and the pastors and Liberty University. There's a reason that we're waiting on that. But SUBTU is a plane. First, our anchor plane comes in. The anchor plane comes in May 23rd.
Yeah, we're not watching your gay plane shit again. Fucking dumb bitch.
talented, most brilliant tactically attack that we've had maybe in 100 years. And they're against it. Why? It's one thing if the attack failed. I'd probably do that too. A change. I'd be in favor. Then if it failed, I'd say, I told them not to do it. That's what they do. But here we have one of the most successful attacks ever. And they find a way to be against it. It's pretty amazing. But it's a shame. And we have some others, but not many. We have a great party, but we have people, the Democrats, whether you like them or not, they stick together like glue. They have horrible policy. Thank God they have horrible policy. Because they're smart, they're evil, they're vicious, but they have bad policy. For instance, you could be a genius and try selling men playing in women's sport. You could be a genius, try selling transgender for everybody, open borders, let the world come in. Let the world's prison population come into the United States, including all of the murders, 11,888. That's what we're trying to get out of Chicago and Minnesota and these places. So they stick together, which I admire because I'm a very loyal person. But they have horrible policy. Can you imagine if they had good policy? They were on this morning talking all the reasons that men should be playing in women's sports. They had a football guy there, flag football. This guy was like 6'6". He weighed 290 pounds with zero body fat. And they had a few young women. They were the size of his leg. He wouldn't have had to run. He could have just walked. They couldn't have done a thing about it. 10 of them would have to jump on him. That wouldn't have had any impact. I don't think he would have been like a fly. It's so ridiculous. It's so demeaning to women. It's so demeaning. Look at the weightlifting records. I mean, the record got beaten by 112 pounds, a record that stood for 18 years. 1 ounce they'd put on stood for 18 years. Guy comes along who was a poor lifter as a man. He was at the lower portion of the class. Comes along and broke the record by 112 pounds. Think of that. They fought for years to beat that record. How about the swimming records? I mean, you can go to sleep during the time the man comes in and the woman. You can go take a nap for a little while. How about the long-distance race that took place not so long ago? Long distance, these marathon deals. They had top men, top women. The man came in. The woman came in 5 hours and 14 minutes and 36 seconds behind the man. Think of it. You're waiting. The man comes in. Now you're waiting 5 hours. What do you do if you're the parents? You go home and sleep for a while. Who the hell wants that? It's so demeaning to women and who are great athletes. It's so demeaning to them, and it's right now in the Supreme Court. I can't believe it would even go to the Supreme Court. I mean, could you imagine 20 years ago talking about men playing in women's sports? They'd think you're crazy. Or transgender for everybody? If you said there will be no mutilation on children, that's one of my standard lines. We will not allow the mutilation of a child. Can you imagine having to say that 15 years ago? People would say, is that guy crazy? Of course we won't. But we're living in a different time. It's a crazy time we're living in. After real wages plummeted by $3,000 under Sleepy Joe Biden, real wages are up by $1,300 in less than 1 year under President Trump. For construction workers, wages are up $1,800. Don't forget, they were down $3,000. Factory workers over $2,000, and for many other workers, over $5,000. And I just gave the military, because we're doing so well, we're taking in so much money with the tariffs, I just gave them $1,776. You saw that, right? Did you see that? They had 75, and I said, you know, if you had $1 more, $1,776. They said, that was a good idea. We could afford $1 more. We gave them $1,776. Meanwhile, grocery prices are starting to go rapidly down. Rent is down. Airfares are down. Hotel rates are down. Cell phone prices are down. And we're just getting started. But more importantly than going down, our growth is through the roof. It's way up. Among my first acts in office was to end the radical left war on oil and gas and stop the crusade to kill American energy, and frankly, to open up cars so that you don't have to have an electric car. I love electric cars. I think they're great. I like Elon a lot. I don't think he was too happy with my policy of opening it up, and I can understand that. But I've been saying it for 4 years. They wanted everybody to have an electric car in a very short period of time. There was no way to build the stations. There was no way to get it done. I want you to have gasoline-powered cars. I want you to have electric. I want you to have hybrids. I want you to have everything. Hydrogen, I don't know about. I'm hearing it's not testing so well. It's fine, except when there's an explosion, you're a goner. Now, have you heard that with hydrogen? One guy's trying to sell hydrogen, and I say, yeah, but, sir, that only happens 1 in 100. Oh, great. When it happens, they find the body like 300 yards down the road. So I said, I'll pass on hydrogen. Maybe there's something I don't know about, but is anybody in the hydrogen car business? Gasoline is now under $2.50 a gallon in 17 states and under $2 in many places. We have some states it's $1.95, $1.99, $1.97. As we speak, these are gas stations, and think of that. We have gas stations in the Detroit area where you can fill up for less than $2.30 a gallon, whereas 2 years ago it was $4.50, and in many places it was way over $5. Think of that, $2.30. You see it. That's like a massive tax cut, which we gave you under the great big beautiful bill, by the way. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. And with our extremely successful operation in Venezuela earlier this month, that number soon is going to go lower because we're going to have a lot more energy. We're going to have a lot more, as opposed to a country that's going to be totally shut down. No fuel, no gasoline. And it's, you know, they say it's got more than Saudi Arabia. Who knows? It's got a lot. And by the way, to all Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions if possible, and save the name of the killers and the abusers that are abusing you. You're being very badly abused. If the numbers are right now, I hear 5 different sets of numbers. I hear numbers, look, 1 death is too much. But I hear much lower numbers, and then I hear much higher numbers. But I say save their names because they'll pay a very big price. And I've canceled all meetings with the Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. And all I say to them is help is on its way. You saw that I put tariffs on anybody doing business with Iran. Just went into effect today. And I say make Iran great again. You know, it was a great country until these monsters came in and took it over. And it's all very fragile. It would have happened to us, I'm telling you. If I didn't win this election, it would have happened to us. In the coming weeks, I will be laying out even more plans to help bring back affordability. And again, remember, that's a fake word by Democrats. Prices were too high. They caused the high price. They never want to talk about affordability. They always go, this is an election about affordability. I say, they caused it. But they're good at that stuff. They're good at that stuff. They're fake. And they're good at that stuff. It's an election about high prices that was caused by the Democrats and that I brought down a lot. And remember, when you see energy coming down like I brought it down, and gasoline coming down, that brings everything else down. It's so much bigger than any other factor. When gasoline gets to be $1.99 a gallon, everything comes down. The donuts come down, the truck that delivers the donuts, the stove that makes the donuts, the whole thing, it all comes down. And it's coming down much faster than anybody can even believe. And remember, though, I always say, because here normally when that goes down, the world comes down. That's the bad way of bringing it down. Our growth is through the roof. So I always want to say that whenever I say prices are coming down, but our growth is going way up. 2 beautiful events, the exact opposite of the Biden administration. As part of those efforts at Davos next week, I'm going to provide much more detail about our housing policies so that every American who wants to own a home will be able to afford one. We have some great things happening with housing, as you know. You saw the $200 billion buy-in on bonds and mortgages. This will include a ban on large institutional investors buying up single-family homes all over the country and making it impossible for people to buy a home. And I've also announced that the U.S. government is purchasing $200 billion of mortgage bonds to bring down mortgage rates, and it's had a huge impact. It's already started. And just last week, the average 30-year mortgage dropped below 6% for the first time in many years. It's coming down very rapidly, and that's not with the help of the Fed. If I had the help of the Fed, it would be easier. But that jerk will be gone soon. In addition, I proudly called for the credit card companies to cap interest rates at 10% for 1 year. because they're getting 28 and 30% and 32%. And it's unfair. The rates are way too high. To provide further relief to hardworking Americans will also be confronting one of the biggest factors in driving up prices, the monstrosity known as the Unaffordable Care Act. You know what that is, right? It's Obamacare. It's a great name, Unaffordable Care Act. Nope. Did anybody ever think of that one before? It's true. It's the Unaffordable Care Act. Obamacare was a gift to make health insurance companies rich at the expense of the American people. In particular, the so-called enhanced premium tax credits were a corrupt payoff to the insurers, whose stock prices went up more than 1,000% after Obamacare was signed. I want the same money I want it to go directly, very simple. I want the money, those big amounts of money paid for by the government, to go directly to the people so they can buy the health care that's right for them. They can negotiate their own deal, health care savings account, but they'll buy their own health care. And everybody loves it. That's why later this week, I'll announce our healthcare affordability framework that will reduce premiums for millions of lower drug prices, delivering price transparency and demand honesty and accountability from insurance companies all over the country, all over the world, actually. Healthcare costs will come down very fast with my most favored nation executive order. We're doing most favored nation drug prices. When we would have drug prices stay the same, everybody thought it was great. They're going to be coming down thousands of percents. We're standing up to special interests and slashing prescription drug prices by 300, 400, 500, and even 600% and more. I mean, think of that. On that alone, we should win the midterms in a landslide. I'm doing favored nations. The country that pays the lowest price in the world is the price that we're going to pay. And we got that because of tariffs, because I said to the countries they wouldn't approve it. The drug companies were tough, but they were fine. But they said the countries will never do it because you have a pill that sells for $10, you have to sell it for 20 or 30. So you'd have to double or triple the price of their health care there for prescription drugs. Ours would come down from $130 to $20. Theirs would go from 10 to 20, the world being a bigger place. And it was unbelievable, but the countries wouldn't do it. So I called the countries. I said, if you don't do it, then I'm going to put a tariff on you. And the tariff's going to be 20 times more than the cost that you're having to pay for fair health care. And every one of them said, sir, we agree with you 100%. We would be honored to do it. It was really rather amazing. We could never do it. So think of that. You have most favored drug prices. Your drug prices are going to go down like from $100 to $10. Nobody can believe it. And we can't get the fake news to write about it. It's the biggest thing to happen in medicine. It's the biggest thing to happen in healthcare. And I cannot get the New York Times, I cannot get anybody to write about it. When we got it done and we announced it, it was on a page way in the back of the New York Times. Same with others. They don't want to talk about it. You know why? Because it's so good. It's the biggest thing to happen. Over the past 12 months, almost every promise I made to you right here in 2024 has been kept. I've kept all my promises and much more. I mean, I've given you much more than I gave you promises, and I produced much more than I said I was going to produce. I gave you the largest tax cuts in American history, cutting taxes across the board in the great, big, beautiful bill. And as I told you, I mean, who would have gotten you no tax on tips, as I said before. No tax, I say it over and over again, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our seniors. Any senior should be voting for this because the Democrats won't do this. It doesn't work for them. We also made interest on car loans fully tax deductible so that when you go out and buy a car, if you have a mortgage or you get a loan on a car, you're allowed to deduct interest for the first time ever. That's never happened before. But only for cars that are stamped with the beautiful words, made in the USA. In other words, we're only letting that take place if the car is made like in Detroit or in the USA. Our tax cuts also provided 100% bonus depreciation on all new equipment and capital investments, meaning that for any manufacturer looking to bring production back to America, you can write it all off, everything. Not in 38 years, not in 44 years, in 1 year. You write the whole thing off in 1 year. That's the biggest thing. I think that's the biggest thing. That's the big job producer. And I've cut
Cooking
an
napping here.
unprecedented number of
Hey,
burdensome
can we?
regulations. We're number one in the history of our country in cutting regulations. I promised to cut 10 old regulations for every one new regulation. So if we put on a regulation, the only way I'll allow it to happen is if the secretary, like Scott Bessent, cuts 10 old regulations. But instead, last year we actually cut 129 regulations for every one that we put in. Think of that. So nobody's ever cut regulations like I have. I terminated the insane electric vehicle mandate and ended the war on internal combustion engines. Once and for all, those engines were gone. And some people like them. And if they like them, great. And if they like electric, if they like any form of propulsion, any way you want to propel your car is okay, except for a couple of them, as I discussed. I permanently stopped Joe Biden's ridiculous CAFE standards. You know what the CAFE standards are? They're standards that make it impossible for you to build a car affordably. They make it impossible for a car to really work right. The CAFE standards sound so nice. The CAFE standards, it's environmental standards that are impossible to meet. And we're canceling the EPA's absurd tailpipe emission standard, one of the worst ever. And I revoked the California emissions waiver to stop San Francisco communists from regulating automobiles all over our nation, all over our world. Boy, I have done so much for the car industry. It's crazy. Nobody thought it was possible to do this. And that's why your industry, and not everybody's in the car industry. How many people are in the car industry in this room, in one way or another? That's a lot, relatively. That's not bad. Another urgent priority for bringing down the cost of living is to stop the colossal fraud that is bleeding American taxpayers absolutely dry. The fraud being committed by the Somali population in Minnesota. Have you heard of them? They're lovely people. Is monumental. And California, Illinois, New York, and others are just as bad. Our country has been losing over $500 billion to fraud every single year, but those days are over. We have the best group you've ever seen assembled going after fraud. In Minnesota, we're cracking down on the Somali scams, ending the brazen and shameless theft of taxpayer dollars. Well, it's going on in Maine, too, with Somalis. You know, and they don't take our ships anymore. You know why? We hit them with the same missile that we used to hit the drug dealers coming in with the boats. You know, we have drugs coming in by sea down 97%. You've seen that? 97%. And we're trying we're really trying hard to find out who the hell is the other 3%. But we have them down 97%. And we're going to start hitting them by land, too. The hard part is done. By sea, nobody's coming. It hasn't been great for the fishing industry, however. Those that have a fishing boat, they're having a hard time getting customers. But you can't have everything. Nobody wants to go on boats. Nobody wants to go like 25 miles an hour. When you see a boat with 5 engines on the back of it going 65 miles an hour, and it's loaded up with hundreds of bags that you see cellophane with white, typically it's not fishing. How about the couple of submarines we took down? We took out 2 submarines, and the Democrats say they were fishing. No, they were submarines. They were actually, they build a very fast, it's a drug-carrying submarine. They have a lot of money. And we took them out, and the Democrats claimed that they were fishing. We shouldn't ruin people's beautiful fishing journey. It's unbelievable what we have to go through. It's really a shame, actually. We froze it all, children's payments to those states that we're talking about, and we will now require proof of attendance in order to receive federal funding for child care or any of that. How about all these child care places in Minnesota where there is no children? They go there, they get paid millions and millions of dollars. The biggest operation in all of Minnesota had no children. And we pay millions of dollars. They're scammers. They're scammers. They always will be. And we're getting them out, and we're not going to pay them. We're not going to pay Minnesota. Right, Scott? We're not paying Minnesota any more money for any of that crap. It's a big scam. It's a giant scam run by an incompetent, crooked governor. He's an incompetent, crooked guy. And also, we're freezing any and all welfare payments going to illegal immigrants that will start effective immediately. So when illegals come into California, Gavin Newsom, They come into California, and they send us bills for people coming in. We're not paying it, so we're working on that very strongly. Just don't pay it. As Nancy Reagan would say, just say no. You remember Nancy Reagan? Just say no to drugs. It's a little more difficult than that, I guess, right? But just say no. Additionally, from this moment forward, if you're on public assistance, like almost all Somalis are, did you see where 94% of them are on public assistance? You can't wire money out of the country back to your bank account from where you came. But more importantly, we probably aren't even going to give them the money anymore, the money going to them, because of the tremendous abuse and probably illegality being perpetrated on our country. We're not going to give them the money. We're not giving them the money. It's massive numbers of people are scamming our country. You know, they came from a place with nothing, and they come here and they drive around in Mercedes-Benz. You know, the Mercedes-Benz dealers do well in that area of Minnesota. Can you believe it? They have nothing. They get welfare payments, and they have Mercedes-Benzes. It angers me so much, but we're going to straighten out our country. This was done under Biden and Obama, very much under Obama. It all started under Obama. And we just can't. We've got a great country. We're not going to screw it up. But this was one of the great scams ever. They have the same thing, Somali in Maine. Who would think? I never saw that happening. But in Maine, it's really crooked as hell, too. But it's not just Somali. It is them, but it's not just. There are many other places, many other people. The whole country. If we stop this fraud, this massive fraud, we're going to have a balanced budget. That's how much money you're talking. We'll have a balanced budget without all the growth I'm talking about. And then you add the growth, we got one hell of a country. We're giving 90-day notices to places like California, Scott. Right away, we're going to send out that notice. Who would bill the federal government as people poured into the state to send those people back, because no country can afford to do it. No country can afford to take in millions of people, pay for their education, their health care, their hospitals. You just can't do it. And we all have a heart. You can't do it. But many of those people are murderers. They're people released from jails, prisons, mental institutions, insane asylums. They're people that are drug dealers. They're addicts. Additionally, starting February 1st, we're not making any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities, because they do everything possible to protect criminals at the expense of American citizens, and it breeds fraud and crime and all of the other problems that come. So we're not making any payment to anybody that supports sanctuary cities. We have also suspended nearly 8,000 SBA loans, Small Business Association loans, to suspected scammers in Minnesota, of which there are many. It's a great state. It was a great state. Now it's getting destroyed by that stupid governor. What a stupid guy he is. But he's a crook. I mean, he's an incompetent guy, but he's a crook. He allowed this to go. You can't have corruption on a scale that nobody's ever seen before, and you're sitting as a governor and you don't know what's going on. It's impossible, even though he's a stupid guy. We're investigating large-scale visa fraud, and the Department of Justice has already charged nearly 100 people in criminal conspiracies in Minnesota. They're all over the place. Last week, we announced that I'm creating a brand-new division at the Department of Justice, a legal strike force led by a really tough, smart new Attorney General for fraud. He's a fantastic young guy. He's so impassioned to do this properly. We intend to imprison any fraudster, politician, or public official involved in these sick plots to loot and pillage our country. Think of that Ilhan Omar. She lives in Somalia. They don't have a government. They don't have a military. They don't have police. They don't have anything. All they have is murder and robbing ships, bringing in ships, pirates. That's stopped. Same missile, ping. That's the end of them. It's amazing how that can stop corruption. Those missiles, they never miss, you know. The same one, exactly the same one. But think of it, she comes from a country with nothing, and she comes here and she tells us about our Constitution. I have a constitutional right to rip off the country. I guess she's a total scam artist. Anybody knows it. How do you let her get away with it? AOC +3. She was one of the three. They're all scammers. They're so bad for our country. They're so bad for our country. Our ICE operation in Minnesota, for example, is finding hundreds of killers, violent predators, and child rapists, some of the worst criminal offenders anywhere in the world, murderers all over the place. All we want to do is get them out. Did you see the pictures that we put up? Hundreds of them. Murderers wanted for murder, wanted for the worst drug selling. One of them is one of the biggest drug dealers in the world. And vicious, sells bad drugs too. Bad drugs, like if you take a tiny little morsel, your child is dead. And we're getting them. But it's hard to get them because they make it so impossible for you. And you wonder why. Why would they do that? You know, do they want to live with murderers? Do they want to live with these people that are emptied out from prisons? They have a lot of people. One of the reasons I was so angry with Venezuela, they emptied their prisons almost entirely into the United States of America. Tren de Aragua was the gang. One of the worst, probably the most violent gang there is anywhere in the world, they say. We're getting them out. We've got a lot of them out already, but we're getting them out. We're also going to revoke the citizenship of any naturalized immigrant from Somalia. Or anywhere else who is convicted of defrauding our citizens. We're going to get them the hell out of here fast. And if you come to America to rob Americans, we're throwing you in jail and we're sending you back to the place from where you came. We're throwing you right in jail. And they know it, too. And one of the reasons they're doing these fake riots, I mean, they're just terrible. I mean, you see it's so fake. Shame, shame, shame. You see the woman. That's all practice. They go practice. They go to areas, they take hotel rooms, and they all practice together. It's a whole scam. We're finding out who's funding all this stuff, too. We pretty much know. But in conclusion, as we liberate our country from this cultural scourge and the plague of corruption and fraud, we'll rediscover the natural energy and native spirit that truly makes America great again, like we're doing with Detroit and Michigan. If we get rid of fraud and do our job properly on the trillions that are being extorted out of our country from corrupt and incompetent governors like Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, and Tim Walz, we will very soon have a balanced budget, and that's the kind of money that we're talking about. We're talking about massive amounts of money. Our country wasn't built by people who tried to lie and cheat and scam their way to success. It was built by legends like Henry Ford, Henry Dow, Thomas Edison, the Kellogg brothers, Alfred P. Sloan, the founder of General Motors, men who lifted up American workers and strengthened our nation beyond even belief. And we're doing the same exact thing right now. I think we're doing it even better. This is the fierce spirit of patriotic free enterprise that we're now unleashing once again. We are unleashing it like maybe never before. Together we have turned the page forever on the failed left-wing model that makes our America poor, desolate, and makes people feel sorry for us. That's what we had. We had a country where our leader was laughed at and our country was scorned. We had a country that was laughed at. They laughed at us. 2 years ago, they laughed at us. They thought we were fools. They thought we were stupid people. Now we're seeing that they're not the smart ones. We are. But we have a great America, and we're going to enrich it. And foreign nations, foreign migrants, criminal fraudsters, and corrupt politicians are not going to play a role anymore. They're going to be in jail. Under the Trump administration, we're reclaiming America's dignity, rebuilding America's wealth, and we're putting the productive, hardworking American citizen at the center of every single thing that we do. They were the ones that built America, and they will build it up again, and that's what they're doing at levels nobody thought was possible. So today, after less than 1 year, our border is secure. Remember, they talked about the border, how bad? In 3 weeks, I didn't go to Congress. I said, secure our border. And they did. Remember Biden, he said, I have to get approval from Congress. Had nothing to do with Congress, had to do with respect. Our spirit is restored. Inflation has stopped. Wages are up. Prices are down. Our economy is booming like I think you'll see soon, like never before. Our military is strong and unprecedented. I rebuilt our military in my first term. Our workers are thriving, and our auto industry is returning to the country where we all began and where it all began, and frankly, a country that we love. The United States is winning again, and we're rapidly making America and the great state of Michigan greater and more prosperous than ever before. I want to again thank the Detroit Economic Club. You do a fantastic job, so respected. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
To be speaking to the media right now. Let's listen in.
So we had great numbers introduced today. We had a wonderful speech in front of great people in Detroit, mostly in the car business, and we're setting records in manufacturing. It's going very well. I think people appreciated what I had to say in terms of the numbers. So we're very happy about that. I'm going back to the White House now. We're going to look at the whole situation that's going on in Iran. It's really bad stuff. Minnesota is going to have to take care of itself for a little while. We have tremendous theft and fraud going on in that state because you have an incompetent governor, grossly incompetent governor, and a corrupt governor. But we'll straighten that out. But Iran is on my mind when I see the kind of death that is happening over there, we think. So we're going to get some accurate numbers. I'll have it in about 20 minutes. We'll get some accurate numbers as to what's happening with regard to the killing. The killing looks like it's significant, but we don't know yet for certain. I'll know within 20 minutes. So,
on sanctuary cities,
and we'll act accordingly.
On sanctuary cities, U.S. airstrikes, when it comes to that, will have the result of protecting the protesters?
Well, you never know, do you? You never know.
Do you think it's...
So far, my track record's been excellent, but you never know.
Do you think it's going to be something kinetic like that, or more like cyber? Or
well, I can't tell you that. I know exactly what it would be. We have to make a decision.
Sir,
but I can't be. Obviously, I can't be telling you.
Timeline? Yeah, timeline.
Sir, Jamie Dimon said today that it's not a great idea to be chipping away at the Fed's independence. Do you think Jamie Dimon's wrong about that?
Yeah, I think it's fine what I'm doing. We have a bad Fed person. He was extended by Biden, and yeah, I think he's wrong. I think it's wrong. He's done a bad job. We should have lower rates. Jamie Dimon probably wants higher rates. Maybe he makes more money that way.
On sanctuary cities,
sir. Also was talking about the 10%
credit cards. The House Speaker said that it could have negative side effects if it was imposed through Congress. Are you concerned about that? Have you talked to the
No,
House
I'm not.
Speaker
I think that
about-
people that are paying 28% interest should be protected. We're talking about for a one-year period, but when you have a bank, whether it's Jamie Dimon or anybody else, charging people 28, 32%, 30%, 31%, one case 35%, no, I'll help those people. That's all right.
Sanctuary City, sir, in your speech you said
It's a one-year 10%. Let the people have a break.
In your speech you said that you're going to be cutting off funding for sanctuary cities on February 1st.
That's right.
What kind of funding?
You'll see. It'll be significant.
All federal funding?
On healthcare, is there something that you can do with insurance companies to bring down premiums like you're doing with credit
Yeah, I'm
cards?
going to meet with the insurance companies, but I want the money to go directly to the people. It's very simple. Into a healthcare savings account, but directly to the people so the people can buy their own healthcare.
Mr. President, on Thursday will be the 6-year anniversary of you signing the Phase 1 trade deal with China, the signature on it. Would that deal open Chinese markets to U.S. goods? It protected intellectual property. Can we get back to that?
Yeah, we can. We're doing very well with China. I have a great relationship with President Xi, as you obviously know. We're doing really well. We're making a lot of money with China.
But can you open their markets to U.S. goods?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's going to happen.
Iran says that it will retaliate in the instance of U.S. strikes against U.S. assets in the Middle East. What do you say to U.S. service members about why it is worth the risk to intervene in Iran?
Yeah, Iran said that the last time I blew them up with the nuclear capability, which they don't have any longer. So Iran said that the last time. They better behave.
Mr. President, Intel stock is really high after you invested. Are you going to invest more in Intel?
I like it. So, well, I don't know about Intel, but I'll invest more in other things. So, as you know, Intel came to see me. They needed help. And I said, I'll help you, but I want 10% of your company to go to the United States of America. And we made, because of that deal, tens of billions of dollars. The stock went very up and very high, and we made tens of billions of dollars. They walked away and they gave us a lot of money, but they did a great deal for themselves because their stock has gone up. As soon as we went in, Apple went in, NVIDIA went in, a lot of smart people went in, they followed us. So yeah, we're doing that. We've done other of those deals. In Alaska, we did a deal where we got a big piece of a company where we were helping them to get a road. We're the only ones that could have done it. And we said, we want something out of the company for the United States of America, okay? So I believe in that. We have some other ones that we're looking at. I believe in that. If it's up to us, if they can't do it without us, and then I say, well, we'll do it. If you were a private guy, you'd say, what do we get for doing it? Now, I don't want anything for myself. I want our country to be rich as hell. But with Intel, we made billions and billions of dollars, right?
So, Mr. President, on Iran, do you have a message for the leaders currently of Iran?
Yeah, the message is they've got to show humanity. They've got a big problem, and I hope they're not going to be killing people. And I'm going to have a report very soon. It would seem to me that they have been badly misbehaving, but that is not confirmed.
Secretary Bessent, hostage rescue effort that ended in disaster.
Well, it was a disaster for Jimmy Carter. They had all sorts of problems, and the helicopters were crashing and everything. You know what it was? The exact opposite of Venezuela. Do you agree with that? Do you agree? As a reporter, who are you with? Who are you with?
I'm with the Financial Times, sir.
Oh, good. Well, it's a nice paper.
So are you committing not to sending U.S. troops into Iran?
Why would I tell you that? Why would I don't talk about military strategy with a reporter, you know, even though I do like the Financial Times.
Secretary Bessent.
Are you consulting with our allies regarding Iran? What are they telling you, and why do you think the
Well, I'm not going to tell you what they're telling me. I don't tell you what
they... Why do you think the Iranian leadership continues to defy you, Mr. President?
You think they are?
Well,
it's only been a couple of days.
They continue to kill protesters.
Well, they said that about Venezuela, too, you know. It's only been a couple of days. They haven't defied me. They haven't done anything as far as we're concerned. But it looks like they're killing a lot of people, but it has not been confirmed. I'll know very soon.
On Greenland, sir, the premier of Greenland said today, we prefer to stay with Denmark. Do you see that as the final word? Who said that? The premier of Greenland.
Well, that's their problem. That's their problem. I disagree with them. I don't know who he is. Don't know anything about him.
but that's going to be a big problem for him.
Do you want to see democracy in Iran?
Ideally, you'd like to see it, but what we want to see is we don't want to see people killed, and we want to see a little bit of freedom for these people. These people have been living in hell for a long time. You know, that used to be a hell of a country. I have friends that used to invest in Iran, and they did well with their investments. It was a great place. The people were great. Even the leadership was good. And now it's living in hell. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
President Trump remarks coming off Air Force One, taking questions from the media and saying.
President Trump hitting back at Iran after freedom protests
Hello?
across that nation turned deadly. The president announcing a 25% tariff on any country that conducts business with Iran. He's also issuing a stark and direct warning to
Yeah.
the Iranian regime.
What happened?
All options on the table.
I heard you
In a
guys getting a
social
little.
post just this morning, President Trump encouraged protesters to keep fighting, saying, quote, help is on the way. Jackie, China, this would mean a new 25%.
That was cool. She made something with it or throw pillows. Always wanted to do. Especially yeah, I took this one thing. However, it's just such a charitable
Jeez. So don't talk to her then. Yes. That's sick. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
She was doing that
Yeah.
recently.
Uh-huh.
And she made it all
Jeez.
like she do 60 little things that I
Mm-mm.
don't. So what's happening is just my just my she's like chill about their face. It's been chill about their face.
Gosh. Yeah.
I can't stand it. Next time she acts nice to me, I'm not even gonna
Yeah. That's what I do now. That's what I do. What? You're talking too loud. Savannah can hear you through your door. Okay. Bye.
Tariff and into this trade fight pause from October. China is the biggest trading partner with Iran, then the UAE, Turkey, India, and Oman.
Yeah, and this heats everything up again in a tariff situation that was starting to just settle. So we were getting a break from that, and oil prices are up a little bit today, but not as much as they would have been if we were talking about this, 20 years ago. So that's positive, and we're already in a lowered place because of President Trump. So around the $60 mark, I'm not really worried about it. Usually I would take my time to dig into the oil aspect of it, but today I just rather do something else.
Sure.
I was particularly struck by the story of one 26-year-old. His name is Irfan Soltani. He's scheduled to be hanged to death in Iran after he was arrested during the protests. That scheduling is for tomorrow. We are reporting, many outlets are reporting, more than 500 people have been killed in the protests. That's sort of the unofficial official number. The Jerusalem Post is reporting that over 12,000 people have been killed so far. There are many reports on X that the hospitals are completely overwhelmed, that the scene in the streets is pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
And I
It's
think
an
about
energy
this
drink.
individual, 26-year-old,
Celsius. Look it up.
didn't ask for this regime to come into power, but is in a
Celsius. I was on
situation
my.
where he
my
is
I'm live
risking his
streaming.
life, and ultimately his life
I thought
tomorrow
of my
will come
card.
to an end as he tries with so many other young people to try to overthrow
Did
this
what?
government. President
She
Trump
couldn't.
and
They
the
couldn't
tariff
hear her.
aspect of this, I think he's going in stages. I've always told everybody, whether we're talking about business strategies, tariff strategies, foreign policy strategies, that you have to trust him, that there's a method to his madness. I think the same rules apply here. I think starting with the tariffs is phase one, but he means it when he says all options are on the table. I think if there was any opportunity for the Iranian people to become free of this oppressive regime and situation that they're in, it's now, and I think they recognize that. They've tried to rise up before, but never like this. I think they understand if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna risk your life, if you're gonna be hanged in the public square tomorrow, you want President Trump to have your back, and I think that he will. His Truth Social post, Dagan, that you referenced this morning, almost places himself as sort of a revolutionary strategist, giving them advice on what to do. So I wait to see what happens, like everybody else does. I'm appalled by all the people who protested in America and around the world in support of Gaza and Hamas and the humanitarian violations that were occurring there, but are remaining silent on this situation. And I think it tells you that there's a larger problem with ideology, and that was never about the people in that particular situation, but it was support of this heinous ideology, which the silence, I think, also speaks to.
I saw a photo of what was the globalized, the Intifada encampment up at Columbia, and it was just green grass. And that just speaks to the complete emptiness of that movement, and the fact that they don't really stand for anything other than their own power grab, the pro-Hamas protesters, which are now anti-ICE protesters. But anybody just jump in here, because tariffs are one of President Trump's chosen weapons, and certainly oil, or to cut off oil exports out of Iran, because they are running, oil production is at the highest level since the late 70s. And oil exports, say to China, where 90% of its exports go, are at an all-time high. And it's making, even in the fall, like that's one area the Trump administration has not focused on, is stopping those oil exports. Iran is making still close to $50 billion a year, and that's at cheap cost, selling to the teapot refineries in China.
So I can jump on that, and then, Kenny and Brian weigh in. There are reports that a large share of Iran's production, 2 million barrels a day, Dagan, to your point, goes directly to Chinese refineries. So again, how do some of those get rerouted if there is major supply disruptions in that region? That region is the Strait of Hormuz, and I know we talked about that during the Bunker Buster program in Iran, right? And that ended up being a nothing burger, thankfully then. But again, if that's sort of the backbone of global oil supply, Saudi Arabia. So
to me, that's why I think more than ever, Jackie, and you.
How did these guys pop on your radar?
764 Group is a Satanist cult group that focuses on extreme violence. One of the main things that they focus on is extortion towards children. They believe that nothing matters. They extort children into cutting their wrists, engraving their names into their chests, their legs. They've had children commit suicide live on camera in front of audiences of people while they get cheered on. This is probably one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
What is 764? What is it?
So I'll tell you in my own words first. 764 Group is a Satanist cult group that focuses on extreme violence, and one of the main things that they focus on is sextortion towards children. They're labeled as a nihilist group, and for anyone that doesn't know what a nihilist is, it just means like they believe that nothing matters. No, like there's a group called it, but no lives matter. No human life matters. Nothing matters. That's what a nihilist is. And these people have proved over and over again that they fit exactly the description that they're labeled as. And there are a ton of offshoots of this group, which I want to make it very clear that the main reason why they do a lot of the things that I'm about to show you is to get the recognition for it. There is to get the recognition individually, even if they're part of a group or a group that, you know, they just want their group out there in any way, whether it's negative or positive. This group isn't looking for positive attention. I'll just be candid about it and tell you they you know, extort children out of sexual material. They extort children into cutting their wrist, hurting themselves, cutting areas of their body, engraving their names into their chests, their legs, their arms, their faces. They've had children commit suicide live on camera in front of audiences of people while they get cheered on. They convince children to kill animals.
What?
And tell you they you know, extort children out of sexual material. They extort children into cutting their wrist, hurting themselves, cutting areas of their body, engraving their names into their chests, their legs, their arms, their faces. They've had children commit suicide live on camera in front of audiences of people while they get cheered on. They convince children to kill animals in their house, like their pet cats, their pet dogs. They try to convince them to kill their family members, commit mass murders, bestiality, incest, you name it. A lot of it has already been done. And I have a lot of examples of that to show you today. And that is only with 2 of these groups that we've been doing passive reconnaissance on for a short period of time. There is plenty of other active investigations that are going on with other organizations and that I may or may not have involvement in. But what I can show you today is based on what Sentinel and I have found in a relatively short period of time. And it's going to blow your mind. It's absolutely disgusting. And there's more to it, but it was created by it was unbelievable, but a 15-year-old boy started this group in Texas.
A 15-year-old boy?
15-year-old boy started the group. He was the beginning of it. And he, from what I read, was a nonverbal kid.
Stop.
Down at the door. Now, little dude will start fighting, and you're so stupid. And
Okay, calm down, Mom. What's going on?
okay, she turned up. But when the potatoes were done cooking, now she's saying that she never said that to her about the name.
Okay.
She's lied and lied and lied.
Savannah said the house was hot, so maybe Savannah turned it off. Okay, so put it in there.
The plate was there. I turned the
Who took Shadow's food away?
Probably
Okay, shut up, or she's gonna come out here.
just stop. You're not helping me. We need to.
Mom.
She doesn't try to
Okay, well,
stop.
right now you're shrieking. Oh, she has it. I don't think she.
No. I just got upset.
Well, you're talking a little loud, so
Like
just.
a normal human. You're talking there, please.
Okay, I will go away, and I will. Right now, you're the one talking loud.
You don't talk to me like that. Oh my God. I told you to keep this from you. No.
Okay, stop. Everyone, stop. Stop, Mom.
Normal heart.
Stop. Everyone, stop. Everyone, stop.
God, this is a nightmare.
It's like Jekyll and Hyde.
Locking your door, put lock on. Choo-choo. Choo-choo.
That had some, issues. I don't want to glorify this kid or talk about him in any way where anyone would feel bad for him because he created something that is the worst thing next to, all the other things that we've talked about. This is probably one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. And we'll see how you feel about it when you see it. But it was all started from this kid, and there's something called I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's called the Calm. And the Calm is a collection of mostly teenagers, but there's adults in there as well that congregate on the internet. The Calm is short for the community. And they congregate on the internet and they dox, meaning like release personal information on people. They SWAT, meaning they send SWAT teams to people's houses just to, scare them and to get recordings of them being swatted so they can use it to brag. Like for example, they'll call in to a local department and say, hey, my name is John Doe. I have bombs strapped to the windows. I have my family strapped to the chairs. I'm going to shoot them all if any police enter the door. They're going to say all these horrible things so that a SWAT team, responds. And that's what swatting is. I've personally been swatted 3 times, 2 of which like police actually showed up and it was a big deal. I have a video of one of them, but I never gave them the recognition that it happened. There was no proof that it happened other than my recordings of it that I saved on my phone. I didn't want to give them the credit, So that's the Calm. The 764 group actually came from the Calm, and that doesn't mean all of the people in the Calm have their own problems. They do their own stupid stuff. They've been torturing me since I was on your show 3 years ago, releasing my credit report, my personal information, sending pizzas to my houses, USPS boxes to my houses, and on like pretty much thousands of boxes, no, literally thousands.
Sending what to your house?
USPS boxes. Like,
why?
Because they're free. Like you can order them on the USPS site, and they'll just keep sending pallet after pallet after pallet of these boxes. It's like just to be annoying though. Like they do it to be annoying and to get a reaction out of you. That's the Calm, and a lot of them don't like me, and that's I'll keep the Calm pretty short because they're a whole different topic, but usually just annoying. I wouldn't say that they're hackers. I would say they're more annoying and they have technical abilities. Getting information on people, the way that they mostly do it is they like to use the term TLO, which TLO is just something TransUnion offers to run a report on somebody. And they'll use like a stolen private investigator's account to run somebody's name, get their social credit report and all of the above. And if they don't have access to one, they'll pay $15 to someone that does. And that's how they got my information, which I don't care. I genuinely don't. My credit's frozen. My address is out there publicly. There's nothing about me that they're going to find that isn't already out there. Like it doesn't matter to me. You can dox me all you want. You could try to swat me, but like I know all the police all around my area. They're fully aware that people are going to try swatting me and have continued to try to swat me. I'm not really worried about them. It's more so the 764 group that stemmed from the Calm which is a whole different set of evil that I've never seen, where they want to like they want to sextort children. And sextortion usually, for the people out there that are not familiar with that term, sextortion is when somebody sends naked photos, could be an adult or a child, and the second that those photos are sent, they say, if you don't send me X amount of dollars, I'm going to send this to your family, your friends, your school, your loved ones, and they try to extort them out of funds. Most of those sextorters, not that it's okay by any means, but most of them are just trying to make money.
Hey, you can't, you can't come out here yelling like that then. If you make it for audio. Okay, where is where is the box for these cuisine art things? All right, I'm gonna get it in a few minutes and I'm gonna put the stuff in it.
You know how to so this.
We'll do it in like an hour, okay? We're gonna do it in like an hour. I'll call you back in an hour. I'll call you back in an hour and we'll do it then, okay? Keith, buddy. It's really funny.
They're not trying to do anything evil. And 9 times out of 10, they're never going to send that to anybody. Because they're never going to get paid if they do, number one. And number two, they're like, if there was a child that they have nude images of, they would be distributing CSAM, like child sexual abuse material. So, you know, it happened. The reason why I say that is I have a family member, it's very close to me, that it happened to. He sent stupid pictures. He was an underage boy, and I won't say his name, obviously, but I had to like coach him through how to deal with these people, and they wanted money. They didn't want any of this other evil stuff. And I got them to click a link, the scammers. I found out that they were in, a foreign country that was, I believe it was Nigeria. It was a couple years ago, but I think it was Nigerian scammers. And I told them, just ignore them. Just don't say anything to them. Ignore them. I know it's hard. I know you probably feel like they're going to ruin your life, but they have no benefit in sending your photos to anybody. And they didn't. That doesn't mean that doesn't happen. It just didn't happen to him. And most of the time, why would they? It's wrong, and I'm not saying it's right. I'm not trying to make it sound okay. But in comparison to what these sextorters do, it's not even comparable, man.
I remember you telling me about these guys the last time we met in Florida.
Yeah.
How bad this shit is.
Yeah, I've been working on this for a long time. And with Sentinel, it's been a few months, but I've been working on it for a long time. So it is.
How did these guys pop on your radar?
So I was a federal agent actually gave me a heads up about them, and from there I never heard of them at that point, and I started digging in, just reading the public stuff out there, and it blew my mind. It was like the clearest definition of, evil. Like I keep saying the word, but it is just pure evil, and that's what they want. That's what they're going for. But it's just hard to believe that people out there exist that are even worse, or if not the same level of evil as the other people that I'm fighting against. And a lot of them are teenagers and young 20-somethings, but there's the random 30, 40-plus-year-olds that are involved in this as well, that they just want to cause harm. They want to cause destruction. And what is the next level? It's, it starts with, and I'll get into some of the terminology, but they call it cut signs, or I've heard in some of the groups, cut sluts is what they'll call the little girls, where they cut a username into their arm or their breasts or their legs or whatever part of their body. And it started with that, and then it was, okay, what's the next step? Kill the animals, and then hold up a username on a piece of paper, and then hold the dead animal in the other hand, and like that group will then send that message everywhere, and then the person thinks by doing that, like the child thinks by doing that they're going to stop, they're going to leave them alone, and what ends up happening is they know that that victim's just going to keep doing whatever they ask because they've already done it, and now they're in possession of the news, and these people will send it to your family and friends, and it's just unbelievable. There's more to it, but I want to show you some of the content and some of the questions that I'm sure you're going to have. I can answer, and I want to. There's just so much to this that I could go on like an hour tangent trying to explain it. But could I just start by showing you this situation, and then we'll take it from there.
No matter where you're watching Sean Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.
What's this guy's name? Eight.
No, my air.
Stop doing it.
These niggas tardy type shit. They looking at a blank screen. They're like, nigga, we up out of here. No Jumper, the coolest podcast in the world. You feel me? It's your player partner.
I'm gonna end this stream, you guys.